Nigerian novelists. So I went to Macmillan for 3 sessions for that class. Also, I hear that Macmillan had an event with the Chamber of Commerce that our mayor and his wife attended tonight and learned about it. So I think it's doing great as far as outreach into the community.
Thanks, Ann. Tiffany?
Well, I don't have much to report, but I do want to commend Commissioner, of course, Mac and Angela. You guys always step up, and
Sure.
Angela, you do such a wonderful job with being the community advocate for our schools and making sure we reach childhood people in our, the youth in our area, and that's something that's in our mission. And I really appreciate you always stepping up to do that. You do such a wonderful job, and so thank you for that. I did attend the Dallas Historical Society's luncheon today. They have a luncheon that they celebrate all the different things like arts and theater and stuff. So I did connect with a couple people that was wanting to explore opportunities with our commission for 2025. So I hope to have some updates on that after we have coffee and chat. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Ms. White.
Okay, here we go.
All certified and everything.
All right.
I invented a new word, I coined it, it's called arting. Art with an ing. So, when the image, when the music, when the singer stops all movement, alters timelines and takes your breath, then it's art, has captured heartbeats, emboldened souls to bravery, compassion's work, or peaceful bliss. When the arting, when the feeling, when the passion starts a movement, alters thinking and gives it breath, then it's life now, just beginning, emboldens us to word and work a joyous place.
Thank you, Matt. Our resident poet laureate. Councilmember Good, would you like to report anything? Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Everybody's busy. We're gonna move on to item number 5. We have a guest today. Number 5 is a project called Merrifield Market by Dr. Ricky Fain. The reason I invited him is basically all the meetings I've been to, I've been telling you, he's been at all of the same ones. And this is of relevance to the Arts Commission. It's nothing that we have to take a vote on or take action on, but I think it's something we should know about. He's working on a project adjacent to the Cultural District. And when we talk about cultural corridors and how we create that energy back and forth, if you listen to him talk about it, he'll tell you some ideas. So, Mr. Fain, Dr. Fain, I'm sorry.
I guess I'll go up here to the podium.
Here's a little button forward or move your slide forward. There.
Push forward.
That's it.
About a year and a half ago, the EDC came to me with a vision of how to develop this corridor. We, in this case, Wheeling Road. They were working on Westmoreland Plaza and or Wheeling Plaza, I'm sorry. And they wanted me to get involved because I have a piece of property that was built in the mid-50s to early 60s. At the time it was built, of course, Wheeling Road was a 2-lane road. There was a Air Force base across the street, and much of the housing was off-site military housing at that time. Now, fast forward 60 years or so, and of course, Duncanville was blessed with the Air Force and Army giving them that piece of property, so that y'all now had this large piece of property in the center that you could develop your city, businesses, offices, and your parks, your largest parks. And now the cultural district. And they were wanting us to kind of feed into that just as Woodland Plaza was going to. And so they retained an architect, and these are his visions, but I think they're quite timely, and I think very, very synergistic. And you guys are here tonight, you give your time, not because you're on payroll, because of your passion. Y'all all, I guess, live in Duncanville, I would think. And there's a reason you live in Duncanville. And what Duncanville's doing now, to me, really adds to that. You know, this is, why do you live somewhere? Well, good schools, that'd be a good idea. Safe in your home, that's a good idea. Fun. Where can you go at night? What can you do? Where can we have some, you know, and that's what y'all are creating in the center of town. Someplace fun to go to, take your dog for a walk, go listen to music. The little street restaurants that will begin popping up, they're over at Main and Center now. I think Wheeling Plaza is gonna have 4 more coming in pretty quick. It's just a fun place to go, and it's accessible. And you can walk your dog, and you feel safe, and you can go home. So toward that, this is what they came up with. And I'll just show you. Right now, this is the backside of some duplexes. Again, Wheeling Road was 2-lane. It was widened to 6. We had a little encroachment. And there's very little green space in that part of Wheeling Road. Further west, you've got some nice little office buildings here. You've got some green space. Further down at Wheeling Plaza, they're putting in a green space, trying to beautify the city. And that's what they want to do with what we have. We've got apartments that back up, very little green space. Our parking was all on that side back in the day. So what the architects envisioned was making this a green space and moving the parking to the other side. So it wouldn't be on Wheeling, it would be on what's now Fout Street. And this is a several-fold project, but it involves taking these old apartments and duplexes, and we're gonna completely gut them. And all new plumbing, electric, AC, everything. And then EDC is gonna help us, we hope, on the outsides of the buildings. And mainly because it wasn't feasible without some help. And that's what EDC had said, that's what they were for. Come in and help us get a project. Or we could leave it as a C or D project and just milk it till it falls down, but they wanted us to step up. And so we agreed, and then they were gonna help us with some of the stuff. So it'll be walkways. This is Wheeling Road over here. All of it's a bike trail. Right now, there's a sidewalk down Wheeling. You've got a 45-mile-an-hour road with a 3-foot sidewalk. And no way to escape because there's a step down. So if you walk, you'll probably get hit by a truck mirror. So nobody walks on that. So we were gonna, there's an alleyway that goes down here, and so the discussion has been take that alleyway and turn it into an 8-foot sidewalk. And relamp it, and then change the landscaping on it. And of course, this is right across from where y'all enter to your cultural district. And so, when you get a chance tomorrow, you can look with you can just kind of visualize what they're trying to achieve in this area. Accessibility, huh?
Say, look at the sidewalk.
Yeah, and that graphics, when this thing was laid out, let's see if I've got a picture. That'll go across the street, that ties into y'all's cultural district. It's really pretty cool. And you can see, again, what they're trying to achieve. And multiple pedestrian crosswalks, accessibility. This needs to be a pedestrian zone. It needs to be 30, 35 miles an hour. And it needs to be where people have more right of way than cars. And you can see what they've tried to design across Wheeling. This will be what is now Fout Street, but we will park it. And it will, to get the parking off of Wheeling, to get some green space on Wheeling. We are asking the city, if they're interested, if they want to cut Wheeling Road down to 4 lanes and let us parallel park the south side, then we can get small businesses in some of these structures. Mom and pop restaurants, things like that, that would just feed right across from the park. Again, these are these old 1960s apartments after they have been redone. That's kind of a weird shot. But again, you can kind of see how the street changes, how South Street changes. And you can see Wheatland, and then the green space.
So this is an interesting shot to me. You can see where they're making it pedestrian friendly to walk across to the cultural district.
Yeah.
And he and I had conversations, not to take your steam, but he and I had conversations about, you can imagine when there's live music and live shows and everything that's happening. Of course, Arts Commission has an opportunity to really make that even more robust. Folks coming over here or finding a way to put chairs out across and look over, making community and just make it part of the way people live.
You know, I see this as an opportunity to put little areas in the back where people can put chairs and a barbecue pit and listen to music. Is that the end?
Is that the end?
It's the end of your.
It's the end now. No.
Well, let me see something. There's a first picture. Let's see if I got it. Okay. When they, someone who's I'm sure not around anymore, when they laid these out, for some reason they came up with this angles. And that's what the architect started playing off of, and other visions of this. You can see where the graphics come through to the street off of the original buildings. I've had people ask, well, don't you want to tear all that down and we can go 3-story, 4-story and underground parking and all this, and I don't. Because you know, this has a history. And it's part of Duncanville. Anyway, I just want to show y'all what the EDC and the city are looking at with me, or I guess I'm looking at with them. But I think it just feeds perfectly into what y'all are doing. And accessibility. You know, if these become small little restaurant type deals and we have street parking here, it'd just be cool.
Yeah.
Just be and I think Monty did a lot of that on Main and Center, bringing in those little family restaurants, which I personally love. Anyway, I just want to show y'all what else the city and EDC is up to.
This is one of those. This is the perfect illustration when we talk about cultural corridors. You know, we've had a lot of conversations about cultural assets outside the boundary of the cultural district. So what's the relevance of that? Well, they're important, but they don't contribute to our application. It's that simple. The park has everything, and for the last 50 years, it's been a cultural district. So this sort of activity, that we've seen it in Wheatland Plaza, we see it in this project, and Main Street's gonna have some new development, you can see it in Main Station already. Those become cultural corridors. It's like, how does that energy go back and forth? And to me, you know, when I sat next to Dr. Fain during a city council presentation, we're standing up there waiting, and it was like, where have you been all my life? You know, it was, this was important. So just so you know, he was a family doctor in Duncanville, but now he owns a ranch in Glen Rose. He drove in all the way from Glen Rose to talk to us today. So if you have any questions, I want to make sure that he knows this time was well spent with us. Any questions for Dr. Fain?
I have one. The buildings, because I recognize some of them, they're the ones that's right next to Wheatland Plaza. I know that's low to moderate income neighborhood and so forth, so these people are going to have to move, but are you in economic development working on something that may be, are they gonna be able to afford to move back there? once it's completed, or is this gonna be, I mean, 'cause I think it's beautiful, but it is, you know, a little gentrification.
It's interesting. Because of the age of the buildings, our main expense is repairs and maintenance. So going through and doing what we're doing on our side, redoing the plumbing, redoing the electrical,
It's gonna
mechanical.
It's gonna bring cost up.
Well, it cuts our operating income way down. What we're looking at is about a 25% increase in rent, not doubling, about 25%. But it will help us tremendously. What's interesting to us is most are wanting to stay. And, we've got one little lady we're trying to move right now, she's in her 80s. Well, Miss Minnie, we've got her situated, but our goal is not to displace people. Now, if we have a problem tenant, they probably won't survive. But if our good tenants, we want them to stay. A lot of our tenants have been here 30 and 40 years. So that kind of is part of our deal.
How do you see the Arts Commission, being able to help?
Well, can y'all supply good music at night?
I got that. That's a good one.
No, how can I help you? It's synergy, I think just us being next door to each other says so much. And it shows people driving into the city, wow, look what's happening in Duncanville. And I think that's a big deal. Again, why do you live here? Everybody here could live somewhere else, but you choose to live here. And I think what y'all are doing, creating a center to the town, is so cool. This thing was laid out when I was growing up. Every city street in Duncanville was 30 miles an hour, and it was only 2 lanes. And then we went through that phase of let's have 45-mile-an-hour streets, and everybody works downtown, and let's haul butt back to the house and get in a recliner. And all of that has changed. That's not how we want cities to function anymore. We want people to come out, walk around, walk their dog, have interaction with other people. And that's what y'all are creating, the next phase. That's what I think to me. That's why I came in. I think you guys are just so on track. I really do.
I like the angles. The angles
That's cool.
Yeah.
going down into the street, I like it a lot.
One of the things I appreciate about this is human scale. He talked about putting things underground, putting multiple stories. This remains human scale, the scale that's always been. And it doesn't take a lot to make it a nice place to be.
Yes.
And you can hear everything he says. We had lunch, and I said, "You were born to be an urban planner." He says all the words. So.
Well, thank you one for coming all the way from Glen Rose. I think that's a great idea. I love the colors, and it gives like that safe feeling. And I think that would be really cool, like what you were saying, to have people kind of walk around and enjoy our mom and pop restaurants and stuff. Not only that, but I think it'll also make the artists feel like very involved and like very safe, and they want to come and be here, because like kind of makes me think of like Bishop Arts. You feel comfortable walking around and visiting these shops, listening to music coming out of those bars and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we don't want to be Bishop Arts, but something similar to that effect.
In Europe, of course, you have the retail downstairs and you have living quarters
Yes.
upstairs.
Yeah.
My deal is, well, let's just unstack it.
Yeah.
And so that on these duplexes, one of the things you could do, if an artist wanted to have his studio or resale on this Wheatland side, he could live on the back side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's kind of this unstacking.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then if city council decides that my fantasies have a reality, and we can maybe park that one lane, then you've got off-street parking and direct entry for retail.
A lot of municipalities that have mature counterparts in what we do, they will have, and they do it through various grant programs, not just from city revenue, but from other revenue, to supplement live workplaces for artists. So if an arrangement could be made, and it's something the Arts Commission, DCDC would create, theoretically, it would be within our interest if we wanted to at some point to help subsidize some of these spaces so that artists can live in them, which is a very common practice for, like the Dallas Office of Arts and Culture, they do that too.
Yeah,
Lots of opportunities.
The angles are cool.
Yeah, they are
Yeah,
cool.
they are.
Yeah.
Sunshine.
I'm pretty sure when somebody laid this out, they had glasses on, but I think they were wine glasses.
It's cool though. It was an artist.
Anyway, thank y'all for letting me come in, and I'm so grateful that our people like y'all, they give up your time and your energy for your passion. And I just think that's great.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, it was wonderful. Thank you.
I've got 2 hour drive, so y'all work out everything else, but thank y'all.
Lunch is on me next time you come.
Okay, thanks. You bet.
I'm gonna move on to, so we have a guest speaker on item 6, but it looks like he's not here. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to number 6, unless Alex, do you wanna talk about what Toby was gonna talk about? Cause it was germane to, what Dr. Perry and Amy wanted. Post-event projects.
I can just speak on it briefly because he has not had a chance to present it to the Community Engagement Advisory Board, but what he's doing is trying to create a dashboard that will collect all the information from different events that are happening in the city, so that that information can be used for future people who would like to host an event here, or for us to figure out what is effective marketing internally too. So he's been working on collecting information on different events that you have held and elsewhere have been held throughout the city, and I know he's collecting that to present that. So I believe that was the topic.
So I'll tell you what you may not know is that at the conclusion of every one of our events, I filled this out for the Arts Commission. And so basically, he Toby's a data scientist, ostensibly, and he wanted to create an aggregate of all the events and everything that happens in the city, and then create some best practices and some tracking mechanisms behind it. So clearly, he came to the Arts Commission first, and so basically, our post event has been going into this dashboard. Ms. White at the last meeting, Ms. Jackson and Dr. Perry had asked for if some sort of post-event recap where the information can be collected. My recommendation is the Community Engagement Board is already working on it, so let's just partner with them. And so, so I'm sorry that he couldn't be here, but we can continue that conversation. So item number 7 is the Ella debrief. Sue, you lost your cohort.
She still does. She went there, but.
It's not your day to keep track of her, is it? So I'm good. Thank you, Alex. I know that she's gonna want to hear this. So, like everything else, like when Mr. Anderson came, like when the schools come, when people come to Arts Commission, if we don't have enough time to get us all together, we break out to little groups. We are a nimble bunch, and one of the great things about being a new commission, have such passionate people like Dr. Fain said, is we put on a great face. And so it was not very long ago, Ms. Gail Sliger came to me and she said, I want to create something special in Duncanville. I want it to benefit artists, and I want it to benefit the Arts Commission. And we had very little time to make it happen. At the last meeting, welcomed everybody, and she put on, and I'm gonna.
Sue Clark.
And Sue Clark. Sue, I'm sorry. So I wanted to give you a little update on it. Then I would, if either of you like to talk a little bit about it, I would like to give you the opportunity. But ostensibly, the the purpose of this was to create an art space where it was women. Their ages were 86 to 91 respectively, and I don't have the newspaper with me, I thought I had it, to give them a space to show and be artists. You know, a lot of times the art space is all about youth and young people, and what about folks who have lived a lifetime? So it was a 2-day event. The first one was a preview party. It was very well attended. And the second one was open for the public, for people to come. And one of the cool things about it was, one of their artists, Carol Marks, she started her art career late in life, around COVID, and she's within that age bracket I discussed, and it changed her life. She said during COVID, she has a sketchbook, and she did 100 portraits all during COVID, and she was showing that. So what she wanted to do is, a lot of municipalities, a lot of cities have art clubs. Duncanville does not have an art club. And she started just networking with everybody there to start an art club. And it was one of those things where you got to see people be excited, and all I had to do was stand back and watch. And it was exciting to see, and they raised $451 for the Arts Commission. So, ladies, Sue, would you like to address the Arts Commission? Would you?
Well, you know, one of my things was, we need to get this on the calendar now for next year. And then we need more time, in my opinion. I mean, I thought it was very successful, particularly given the window that we had. It was very slim. But we need to.
Now, you're gonna have it the first weekend in November now, right? Pull back.
So we really want the Arts Commission to help with that. I mean, how this exploded. Sue and I have a joint grandniece in common who was getting married in Missouri. On our way, Marilyn Key, an artist here, in 1967, she was commissioned by Heritage Savings to do the history of Duncanville. She interviewed a lot of the old timers that were still around in '67, got pictures of old Duncanville, and they produced 6 pencil and ink drawings, she did, of old Duncanville. The school, the art, the train depot, the cotton gin, etc. And as we came back through, when we went up for the wedding, I said, Marilyn, do you still have art? Are you still showing? She said, once Wayne got sick, I really quit producing art shows or going to art shows. Didn't have people to help me set up. And I said, you have paintings left? And she opened a walk-in closet, and Sue and I walked in with all these framed, beautiful paintings. So we need to have an art show in Duncanville, and that's how this thing exploded. In September, we kind of talked about it in May when we were out planning this bridesmaids luncheon for our joint grandniece. And we came back and we sort of talked about it. Council was very busy, city was very busy with a lot of things. And so we never really settled on it. And so out of that came Ella Fair with Ron's help and others. And we would love to see this. As Sue said, we'll help. We want to put it on the calendar for next year, the first weekend in November, which we think we get all the right artists. I'm looking, I think Sue's going with me. Our potter, one of our favorite potters, is having a show down in Central Texas. And we think we can find some artists who produce really reasonable priced. We have a jeweler we both like, and she was here. Beautiful things, sold a few pieces. Marilyn Key sold 5 pieces. I mean, everybody, I think, sold something.
Sold something.
Yeah.
And we have Elaine Snyder, who Sue, she was out of town, but Sue picked up her artwork, and we had her showing here. So.
And she's interested in getting this annually too. So is Jerry Bear, the guy that did the wood. He's thinks it's a great idea. So I think we've got local artists. I mean, Elaine and Jerry both live in Duncanville. But if we could also bring in some other from outside too.
So their event attracted people from all over Texas and Arkansas. It was very well received. Of the $451, American Contreras and Miss Contreras were donors in that. So it was. Thank you guys. This is what I love about our Arts Commission maturing. Remember when we sat around this table 24 months ago, not really knowing what an Arts Commission does? There was a lot of staff changes. We did this, figured it out ourselves with a lot of support from staff, and this is the stuff I love about it. So when people from the community have an idea, they have somewhere to go now. I don't know where they would have gone.
By the way, Ron, the latest Focus News, and all of us have some, so and I've collected some to mail to the artists. But I noticed there wasn't any out front, they're all gone. But the Focus Daily News had right under the headline, had a half page, and then the back cover of Focus Daily News in full color was all about Ella Fair, with pictures of council members. You're on the front page.
There was a
Sharon's there.
There was a cool, I think I saw it on social media. There was a really cool line that says, ladies over 80 can still draw a crowd in Duncanville.
Our three feature artists were 82, 86, and 88.
Wow.
Sue and I are both in our 80s. I'm older, she reminds me.
And also, as a part of this, one of their artists wants to start an arts club. And she had gone around, and when people would talk to her, by the time that she was done for those 2 days, she said, Ron, I think I've got about 6 names of people want to come. She is on the board of directors for an art club in Richardson. It's a long name, I forget it. And she invited me to attend, and I schlepped all the way up 75, rush hour, to be there for it. I was grumbling the whole time, and it was so much fun. And it was wonderful. If they could create that here, it'd be wonderful.
By the way, you said Carolyn had just started her art. Carolyn was also sang opera and other things, and from that, she started Carol Marks Music. And she was a supplier to a lot of our major events when I had a business. So that's how I knew Carol Marks. And then when she didn't do that any longer, she picked up a pen and pencil and colors. And
There was a violinist on a Friday night, and it was lovely.
I was gonna say that was.
Dr. Perry and I danced.
She actually, her
That's
son
right, so-
provided the strolling violin for our little
That was donated.
reception private party with cocktails and hors d'oeuvres.
Lots of people
stuff.
donated. It was wonderful.
Sue and I put together.
So, from what you described and the fact that you had people coming from out of state, it seems like it would qualify for hot funds. If we were to consider in the future grants that, might help to encourage your event and maybe pay violinist or pay, for catering or something, it seems like it would qualify in the future, possibly.
Well, Sue and I were happy to do that. I think I speak for her that we are glad to do anything we can for Duncanville. I've lived here longer than most of you have been alive, but and convinced Sue she had to be here some 30 years ago. But anyway, it's been our pleasure to help where we can.
Thank you. So,
Just a comment, I thought the artists were really professional and well organized, and even though, you did need some help bringing things in, and everybody had a vision already of how it should be displayed and had some display aspects, and it was really wonderful to be part of it.
Jo Jennings, she's a jeweler. She's probably wearing one of her pieces. She's been doing it for 65 years. She and her husband were pros, like precision, boom, 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 boom. And so, again, we're really lucky. that that we all could do this together. It looks like a great opportunity for us to grow. Brought lots of nice people to Duncanville. And again, Mayor, Mrs. Contreras, thank you for your donation. So if there's any more comments?
Well, did you wanna do it in the same location next year too?
Well, I thought it worked really well, and if we get more artists, we had access to the whole senior center. The police department made sure that we had a police car parked out front, cause we had a lot of high-end things there. We hired a security officer that night, the night before, while people were gonna be there. Having a little glass of wine, we didn't want anybody to leave tipsy. My granddaughter, who's the licensed bartender, decided it'd be easier if she just passed wine so nobody could just be at the bar all the time. So we kept that under control. I thought it went really well. The parts I know a lot about, I was able to help with, and so I thought it went really well for a first time, short notice. We can get a lot more publicity. But the Arts Commission is mentioned under the headlines in the Focus Daily News. And I noticed all the newspapers are gone from the chamber. Sue went to get some. She got the last one there. I think Joanne Holt is bringing me some. The lady that wrote the article.
We'll make sure everyone gets one.
Congratulations, on that. I think that's an awesome accomplishment. And so I think this would be also a great thing for us to do, at the senior center for next year. And when do you guys anticipate having your strategic plan together for us to review, for 2025? When will you have something together?
I don't have a clue. We'll just need to work on that. We're new to this, guys.
Yeah, but I think the quicker we do that, so maybe we can try to get that by the beginning of the year, so that way we can just put it on the calendar and be able to vote on that. That's good. Thank you so much for that.
And so,
Hi, we're kind of new to this in Duncanville. Of course, this is Candace Johnson. I'm Cedric Johnson. Candace is a graduate of Duncanville. She's also a 4-time Emmy-winning choreographer. When you're speaking of the arts, how many different components are you guys working with?
so all of them.
All of them?
So it's important. So the Arts Commission only recently came together.
Okay.
And so, basically, every art described by the state of Texas or the National Endowment for the Art, that's within her purview.
Okay. Well, she specializes in dance. She's also winner. She's an author, winner of many awards and things like that. I'm just building her right now because I'm on the opposite side. I'm one of the gospel stage playwrights here in Texas, and also I bring in a lot of the concerts. So we live in Duncanville, so we're trying to see what we can bring forth to help enhance some of the things here.
So you know what? Normally we meet on the second Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to come to every meeting. If you can't, they're live broadcast. What you're talking about, we need to continue this conversation.
Okay.
So before you leave, if you could give your contact information to the man at the end of the table, and then we'll have it, and we'll definitely reach back. And I appreciate you coming. Any more conversation on this matter? If that's it, can we give one more round of applause for the Zoom minutes? Thank you guys. Thank you. I'm gonna move on to item 8, Duncanville's holiday lights in the park. I think that's probably Nicholas.
Yes, it is. Ron sent out a request, cause he said he got contacted by Alicia Day, about Duncanville Arts participating in holiday lights in the park. So Commissioner Marianne Taylor and I both volunteered and said that we would spearhead that for the group, but we need everybody volunteering or at least helping out. So this is going to happen on December 6th. You've probably seen a lot of the advertisement that has been going out. They're looking for vendors, etc. But for us, what they were looking at the time, when we met with Ms. Alicia, she said that she wanted us to head up a craft tent or a craft space for the kids, because they're gonna have a parade going on and artists singing and all sorts of things going on, and some vendors. And, so when she met with us, she was wanting us to do something crafty for the kids, sort of like what you and I did when we were at Smith Elementary. So we were fine with that. We had some questions. We went through, we picked out a couple of different activities. One, which the kids seemed to like when we did it at Smith, was they like these pipe things, these pipe cleaners. And they made pumpkins last time, and then, which I haven't tried it yet, but we were thinking they could make Christmas trees or a star or something like that, whatever with it. Max found something on, I think it's YouTube or something he sent, but I haven't looked at it. He sent it to me, but I haven't looked at it. I mean, I looked at it, but I haven't tried it. I
get that all the time.
I
Nobody reads my email.
I looked at it, but I have not tried it. So anyway, so we were thinking about like one table to do that, and then kids like stickers. For some reason, they like stickers. And so we're gonna order some stockings, you know, cut out paper stockings and cut out trees that are already thing, and then they can just put stickers and decorate their own tree or stocking if they want to. And then have a third station, which is letter writing to Santa. They can write the letter and take it with them, or they have a little mailbox thing if they want to stick it in the mailbox, and then we can throw it away afterwards. But anyways, but the third table. Oh, okay, so three little stations. So one of the things that is still up in the air, because we were asking, the time is from 4 to 10, but we don't have to be there for the whole time, and the setup is around 3. And it was gonna be out here in the park. And so Mary Ann was asking, and Alicia was supposed to be finding out for us if, she said when they do things for Keep Duncanville Beautiful, they would always have like a tent. And so she was hoping for a tent or something for us to be up under. And it gets dark early, so the question was what kind of lighting is going to be available for the kids to, you know, because people are going to have to see what they're doing, their activity. And so those were two of the unanswered things that we haven't found out yet that we need to know about.
So you're really picturing this as 3 6-foot tables?
Just your standard tables, yeah. Like one here, then the one in front. We would have 3. The letter writing on one, the stockings or the Christmas trees on one, and then the pipe cleaners on the other one. And that would be it. And then if we wanted to, and one of the things I was gonna ask the commissioners, because I know we do have something from Joe V's, do we wanna have like some Christmas candy or something for them to take with them? You know, if they're packaged, they're packaged or something to give out to the kids if they're there. And that's pretty much it. We'll just need volunteers, and that's it.
Also to chime in, I think what would be great, as we're going to 2025, we're gonna need it anyway. If we're gonna like participate so much more in activities and events, we may wanna go ahead and get a branded tent, because we have to also get that updated pop-up banner. That's what I'm talking about. But I think this would be a great time to go ahead and maybe get a branded tent for the Arts Commission, and also some pop-up banners, and I can connect Alex with a vendor of mine that can get it to them pretty cheap. But I think that would be good for us, and then there's always, of course, lighting and stuff, I'm sure. I don't know if they have some.
So I don't know what the plans were, as where we were gonna be positioned, where she was gonna have us, what kind of lighting we were gonna have.
Yeah.
So I've been sent here on a fact-finding mission to find out, because there was some discussion about whether it was 3 activities or 5, 3 tables or 5.
3 activities.
So I've got that. Know that there's a discussion about, they're trying to figure out how many tents, or is it 1 tent? Because with 5 tables, they were figuring you were gonna require a larger tent. But it sounds like maybe just 3 of those,
We can do the 10 by 20.
yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take
We were
this.
thinking 1 tent, and, I mean, like the tents that I see when you've had other events out here, there's just like a nice size little tent.
Aren't they 8 by 8
No, 10 by 10 usually.
10 by 10, okay.
or 10 by 10?
I don't know.
Mayor, what size tent would y'all put up for the
Are you talking about the VIP tent, type tent, the canvas tent with sides on them? Not
No,
that-
we
not-
really, I think we would really just need the kind with the canopy on top, and we could just get that branded to where it says, it has our logo and stuff. And, I mean, we can get that, we do this all the time,
Yeah,
I can get back to someone who can.
Just some type of little covering and then, you know,
That way we
not knowing what the
already have
weather
it, it's
is, and
big
then,
enough.
and then whatever lighting, if we need anything.
Can I touch base with you tomorrow and connect you with SoFin's Lewis, who's now taken over
Okay, I
for
have
the
a
event?
number. I have a
Okay, yeah, because I know that, I think that this is already on their mind. It was just scale, that
Yes,
3
yes.
projects or 5
Because
projects.
Mary Ann did send a letter or the message to Lo, and I think she's getting her messages, so, but she had not responded to that request.
But it's on the radar.
Okay.
We had a conversation about it today,
Okay.
so it's
Okay.
definitely being
So it's only
discussed.
3 tables, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And we already have a tablecloth, and then, the other 2 tables, I have some tablecloths for that, so we'll be fine.
You know, another thing that's super, maybe a fun idea is we've done before is a s'mores table, like, you know, the little s'mores, they're like a little s'mores, like the kids can make their own s'mores and stuff like that, that would be fun too.
What's the fire part of it?
Yeah, how do you
No,
know?
we just got the little, you know.
Oh, like a lighter or
Like, that's like a little torch, it's about this big, like you use in the kitchen,
Oh,
and we do that, we don't want.
Oh, okay. How do you?
Sounds like a torch
It's
the kids.
basically like.
Here, Timmy.
You have yeah, like the marshmallows, you have the hot chocolate.
Right,
yeah.
Or they, some people just want a candy cane and they put the marshmallows in. But yeah, if you want it, they want the, you just.
Real quick.
Yeah, just real quick, just give them a little something, you know.
Oh, that-
Well, I think the handing out cookies or candy or something.
A candy cane.
I would
Or our
definitely-
candy canes, if somebody could just pick up some of those.
Yeah.
And so we're sort of planning for maybe 300 kids maybe, because we're figuring that the older ones will like the pipe activity and the younger ones would like the sticker thing, and in between with the.
Love that.
What are you thinking for like the volunteer hours, like 2 hours? shifts
Well, if you have
or-
a tent and if we're in a good lit area, we can be there for a while.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, and
Right,
there's a
so
lot of
that's set
activity,
up.
but it's from 4 to 10. Of course, I can be there early to set up and things like that, but, you know, if you're available only for a couple hours, we can, but you might have to practice on the pipe thing, you gotta teach us that pipe thing.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta teach us the pipe thing. Oh, so, but that's it, we just need the volunteers. I know she said that they were gonna have some Duncanville High School students around helping out, but I don't know all the details about that.
Like, yeah. So how do we like sign up like, for an hour or 2?
I guess
you?
with me,
Okay.
yeah. Mary Ann is not gonna be able to be there, she'll be out of town, I think she's out of town. So right now it's just me, we sort of hoping that. And then, you know, and she was saying that maybe
On the early side.
on the early
There's-
side.
Tomorrow,
okay.
we have a meeting that day on the 6th.
On the 6th?
It's
the
the
4th, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
okay,
that's
right.
all the Christmas stuff that they have going on.
Okay,
Christmas
okay.
parade,
Yeah.
Santa, they're gonna have, what is some artists singing. They have all sorts of stuff going on in the park.
Oh, yeah.
Drone show.
Drone show, that's
Oh,
right, we're gonna have a
cool.
drone show. Yeah, so it's gonna be really, nice, so if you can spare a couple of hours, it's appreciated. And then,
Yeah.
and then whoever has the Joe V card.
Oh, I
because-
gave it to Alex.
Okay, then Alex can go shopping for some candy canes or whatever we want to get, cookies or something like that.
Angela and Mac are now like the point people for the schools and anything with kids, they're calling
They're
Angela.
just, yeah, they're sending me emails back
That's
saying,
cool.
where's Miss Angela?
That's cool. Anything else on that? So Angela, you're
Yeah,
cool
that's
to
it.
take the lead on it?
Yep, I'm fine, and anybody wants to volunteer, just let me know.
Okay, I'll email you.
Okay.
Thanks, Angela. Item 9, the Macmillan Institute reception. That looks like an Harry thing.
Oh,
Well, we hope to do a reception. I was interested in the one tonight. Did the chamber put that on for
Yes.
them?
Yes,
well,
I think the food was provided by, 4D.
Forty Square or whatever.
P Square.
P Square.
P Square, no pun intended.
Is this the Chambers Fun After 5?
Yes.
Okay, so Angela, that's a regular thing that the chamber has, and they just have it somewhere else.
And it's for chamber members or something maybe?
Board members and,
Okay,
and then they did Macmillan did the presentation about their business and.
right. So we were hoping to maybe sponsor one that's open to anyone, general reception, and if we had a budget somehow to do that. And Claudia said that typically their receptions cost around $800 or $900. So I don't know. I guess it depends on if we have a budget to do such a thing.
Well,
And-
but we're gonna talk about that later on, but from my perspective, it's about putting the policies first and then how we spend it based on those policies.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about, I mean, if you wanted to take the lead on doing something for them, then if you would like to create a plan and how much you think that it would cost, and then come back to the commission, we can talk about it. Or DCDC. So right now, everything we have with the money that we have has to be compliant for HOT. But DCDC has already told me they still wanna work with us. So things that we've done in the past that now currently we couldn't do, they still would like to do, like the mixers and, so if Arts Commission's not good, DCDC probably would be a good place to start. Yep, and if you need like a coach to get through that lady right there, we'll get you sailing. So any more comment on that one? Cause I think we're gonna have the same one on number 10. Item number 10, Old and New Museum Tour. That looks like an inquiry.
Well, they reported that they're renovating the place, and after the first of the year, it will be available. But for those who have ever been in there, it's a fantastic place that almost no one knows about. And it takes, the tour that we went on, wasn't it 3 or 4 hours? They wanted like a group. It wasn't like you walk in and you just do a self-tour. They tell stories and take you around, and you can, you describe it.
Demonstrate the music machines and things like that.
They have a fantastic collection of things they've acquired from all over the world. So it is the kind of place that might put Duncanville on the map if anyone knew about it, or it was more accessible, because you have to sign up. When we went with a tour group of about 20 people. It was all at one certain time, and it was, I've forgotten how much it cost. But ideally, I think we would sponsor a tour, pay for the public to come and let anyone come at that time, or maybe have 2 times in one day or something, where we were able to invite just the public to come. So,
Let's
to
figure it out.
be-
Let's just figure it out. We can figure that out. Thanks, Ann. Any comments on that?
Well,
Yeah.
part of the problem when, Mr. DeFord Senior was alive, he really did that for his own pleasure. I don't think he cared whether anybody came or not. We tried several times to get groups together, like, they only wanna take a tour of, I think, 20, you have to have 20 people to go do that. Now that he's not really here, and I don't know what, you really ought to talk to the Fords and see if they're more open to having this open to the general public. As you said, as a real museum and advertisement on 20, stop in and see the fabulous music box museum. I mean, it really is incredible. The building is incredible. My opinion, they need some help with how it's displayed and put together. They really need a little more expertise. But the things that are there are really very, very interesting. And I think people would come from everywhere.
They're not protected from.
Yeah, they're not protected
It's just
from the
echo what
public.
she's saying.
I mean,
I spent a lot of time in there inspecting the building when they were filling it up with those those are all museum quality jukeboxes and other types of, old, but they've been collected from all over the world, as you said. And actually, Mr. DeFord did his real dream, and it's evidenced by in the back of that museum, there are actually parking spaces big enough for RVs, because he expected that groups would come in buses or RVs. And there's even hookups for the RVs to, like at a RV park, so they could do drainage. So he had a bigger dream. It just got kind of stifled. It took him a long time to get it open, but yeah, anytime you have an opportunity to go in there and see those pieces, I have no idea what they are, but they're pieces of art, and they're magnificent. And I think also that clock tower they got, and the curator lives here in town. He's the owner of the bed and breakfast up on Hewstead. He knows the entire history. He's the one that went around the world and collected the pieces.
Oh, wow.
And he's still here in town. I can't think of his name right now, but he and his wife had the bed and breakfast up there right across from the railroad tracks on Hewstead. And that was his baby.
Hey, Ann, is that something that you could take leadership on? Because this is a lot of great information.
After the first of the year and see, if they're open and figure out the funding part of it, but.
Well, let's make it your job.
And Greg will help you.
Tagged on to what the mayor said, with having this person that really traveled the world buying these things and knows the history, someone has got to get a tape recording of him with that piece and tell us what he knows about it, or this will go away when he does. Whether he decides to leave the city, doesn't wanna do this anymore, this is so critical, these kind of things, about our city.
So I'm gonna move on. Dr. Terry, looks like you have a really good committee. If you needed to do something. So let's move on to item 11, Juneteenth 2025 planning discussion. Whose item is this?
It would be mine, I didn't put it on the agenda, or,
The reason I put it on is
Because it was-
because of the fact of in previous discussions,
and we took it off,
it wasn't on early enough.
right,
So I want to make sure that you had ample time to start planning in advance.
okay. So we can start planning it now. We already have the dates, I already told you, we already have the dates reserved, it'll be in the same location, not the outer lobby, but it'll be in that, special room over at the library, where we have the, Hispanic Heritage, Gallery and so forth. We'll be using that room, so we can brainstorm and decide now, start deciding now what we wanna do for the Juneteenth.
Did you reserve it for a week?
I reserved it for, hold on. Let me look. Yeah, so we wouldn't have that problem. I think I have it for the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, and 21st. The reason we don't have the 16th is because the city is closed one day, and they think it might be the 16th, but we're not really sure, since it's 2024. But, for 2025, so we didn't put the 16th down, but, they'll change it if we need it. But yes,
18th, the 19th, the 20th.
but we have the 17th through the 21st of June.
Is
The room was already reserved.
this something that we could do like this year? Like if you wanted to put a committee together, get people in the community to help you plan it, is that something that you think would be valuable?
We could.
I mean, that was a question. I mean, it was-
Yeah, we could. The only reason I know about the thing is because I just went to the.
She did.
and
You made it happen.
Right, I didn't want us to go through what we went through before, trying to find a place, and I just don't like procrastinating.
You can only mess with Angela once.
Yeah. Once I did that, I was
That
like,
is it.
I mean, here in advance, we already got the dates, so the dates are set, so however we wanna do it, however you all would like to do it, it's fine.
Thank you so much for setting those dates.
Sir?
Would you consider Ms. Ogilvy herself coming?
Ms. Oakley? Yeah,
For
we would-
Juneteenth?
Yeah, when we had her here, in the city this past year.
Yes, she was here just last
Yeah,
last
we
year.
just had her this past year.
You did have her here this year?
Yeah. Yeah, she was over at the
We
senior
showed a
center.
film about her at our last Juneteenth
Okay.
event.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it worked really well to have the closed locked room for the Hispanic week that we had, because then we could just open it the hours we were able to staff it. And it worked really well. Thank everybody who helped with that. Also, Patrick and Jackie Harvey would be a great asset on our team too, because they had all these things to display, but their fear was that they didn't wanna leave it out just without any, supervision. So they ended up being up here a lot of the time, which was nice to have it in the lobby, because we
More
Mm-hmm.
traffic.
engaged with so many people as they came in. And, but that was the downside of it, that we were really super responsible for, the safety of all.
I've
our
never had
events.
so much anxiety in my life.
Yeah.
I never wanna do that again.
I definitely we should have a liability waiver this year too, like to make sure that we're not liable for anything that happens, like we do that, like I know people don't like to, they're like, oh, why don't we, I think it's so necessary, because I think that our footprint is going to continue to increase, right? And we wanna attract other people from other cities, I mean, we want to connect with other arts. Different arts, commissions have came to our events, our concerts, whether it's been DeSoto, Mansfield, or what have you, and it's given us touch points and opened up, and I think as we're getting and curating more shows and things of that nature, I think it's important to always have a waiver in place that allows us to be alleviated from anything that can happen to their art. Because they don't always have to provide that painting, they can provide a copy of that, and we can frame that and it still looks just as good, no one knows it's not the original, but I think that protects us, and it protects their assets, especially for our artists, our visual artists, so.
And just to know, Harold Banks, who had that fantastic gallery on Main Street, is moving out of Duncanville to Dallas, which is too bad, but again, people didn't know about his place, and he has this fantastic collection of African American art and a lot of original things, and then prints, the Juneteenth, original painting, he had prints of that, etc. But he's moving.
How would you guys like to move forward on planning for Juneteenth 2025? Do you want to have an agenda every month? Do you want it to break up in work groups?
I think we should have it on the agenda, anything that we're gonna be a staple that we provide, should be on the agenda every month, just for.
And then any ideas that people come.
Absolutely, and I think Angel's
Artists
great
that-
at spearheading that, and I think she could, if you don't mind, just being the lead on Juneteenth, and I think that, as we kinda unfold it more, we'll know kind of subcommittees we need, right? And that allows us to have more community engagement with our residents and invite them into that, and that gives them a hands-on approach, so that way they're always involved in what we're creating. It's almost like when, you have a garden, your kids eat vegetables, or it's like,
I'd like to piggyback off some of the stuff that, Sarah did, even on the Hispanic Heritage thing, like maybe we might be able to find some dancers.
Performers,
or
yeah.
Performers.
There you go.
And artists.
Yes.
There you go. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Sounds like they called your name.
So things like that, so, so we can have different things, but if we advertise well in advance, then we're not gonna be that little hidden gem around the corner when the people happen to be walking into the library and they'll know what's going on, cause a lot of people say, oh, I didn't know, I didn't know.
Who's hosting at this 2025?
DeSoto, Texas.
Okay.
So we have a good relationship with their arts
We
commission.
do.
So
We have a really good relationship with them, and I think where we are, in my personal opinion, is over the last 2 years, we've created a lot of traction. And I think Juneteenth is one of those things that allow us to. And so I think that as we're entering this third year of doing something in the community, we created as a community catalyst. And I think one of those things is making certain that we promote it more and advance and be able to say, hey, guess what? We know our social media campaign is going to be 6 weeks. We know that, in January, we're going to start promoting that week, because those are things that are destinations, when you look at holidays like Juneteenth, if there's a Juneteenth, art walk or anything like that, people need to know, like back in April, so they can say, oh, you guys wanna go to this, let's plan
Yeah.
to go to Duncanville. And we want whatever we do to, evoke, more foot traffic and make sure that they're looking at us, we're like, hey, let's go do that and have lunch, et cetera, so that we have more people coming to the
See, and both Angela and Tiffany touched on something that's really important. I think as we create a process for, and also for future arts commissions, we've got to build in market and advertising. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
It's not good, cause right now it's secondary, but it's gotta be the first part of it.
Yes.
And we have to make sure that as we're doing these things and we want people to come, we have to put in a marketing budget. Like, we have to be able to talk to our community partners, and, I have some great relationships, just from me being in media for over 30 years, so. But I do want us to start just thinking about that, and be cognizant of it as we're planning these things throughout the year, so that we get the biggest support, not only from our community, but from our community partners.
Thanks, Tiffany. Anything else on this topic?
I just wanna confirm that you do have the dates,
Yes, I do.
on the library's calendar.
No, not the libraries, it's on the rec center, cause that's
The rec
their room.
center. Okay.
That's their room. But yes.
She reserved that space during the last one. Like I said, you only messed with her once. You only messed with her once.
I don't want any hiccups.
No, no hiccups, we have it.
No, that's true.
And we even have the space in the rec center to, if people bring their stuff ahead of time to store.
Oh,
we
good,
need that, so they got the room for us.
Awesome. Any other comments on that one? I'm gonna move on. So I'm gonna sort of combine items 12 and 13, if you don't mind. This is on the, at the last meeting, the Director of Parks and Rec visited us, and he said, we've got 2 projects that we need on that we need to kind of make it more robust. We need to find out if we can work with Arts Commission. So these are actually 2 programs at the park, and we need to pull out, thanks Vanna. We need to kind of brainstorm. Mr. Browning has offered to have this conversation with us. So the programs that Parks and Rec have is they have concerts in the park and they have movies in the park, and they don't get a lot of visitation. So what they want to know is, how can they work with Arts Commission? How can we work with them to combine efforts, bolster it, and make it something that's popular? So we need to have a little brainstorming session. So our poet laureate.
Can I get a scribe?
Sure.
Next one.
Teamwork.
We'll use that one for the concert one. Okay. So, when I do brainstorming, I like to get ideas down. And we're not putting a filter on it saying, well, that's not practical, that's too expensive. No, we're just trying to get ideas down, get as many thoughts as possible, because then you can build it and you can say, oh yes, and do this and do that. So let's get some ideas on how we can get, we're gonna start with the concert one. That's the first one?
Yeah.
Concerts.
Movies and concerts.
Concerts, yep, because they haven't been well attended, so got to start thinking about what we can do, what we can bring to the table to help with getting people to come to the concerts, know about the concerts, things like that. So, ideas.
Marketing is first,
Mark,
because sometimes we don't always know about it. I don't know if Duncanville already does it, and I'm just gonna be transparent. Cedar Hill has, up in Hillside, they have concerts, summer series that they do for 4 weeks, in July. And I know every July they're doing it, and they're doing it every Friday.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if Duncanville has anything like that, but we need to pick like maybe a month,
yeah, some programming.
sometime in the summer, or spring or something, and just have concert in the park.
Yep.
And they would have, which I think, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, but they would have maybe jazz one, because they would sit out of what the park, what the agenda is for the whole month, and so you would know when they had oldies, and there's just one band, it would just be one band that whole night, for a couple hours, and you just bring your chair, but, they have, jazz, or they would have, oldies, or Motown, or, know, and I think if we advertised and did something like that, and did it well in advance, I would hope if we do it in July, sort of hard, that's okay. If we do it in July, we don't do it on Friday night, since Cedar Hill already has that, do it on another night, a concert in the park. Maybe it won't be on a Friday, maybe it might be on a Sunday afternoon or Saturday.
Yeah.
Or another month,
Yeah.
April, May.
Not in July, Sunday afternoon.
We go up there all the time.
So one of the things that I asked parks, most departments to do over the last month was to get me dates for things that are happening in fiscal year 25. So I can give you that they have at this point tentatively scheduled concerts at the park on March 22nd, April 5th, April 26th, May 17th, and September 27th.
September 27th.
You got him?
I didn't write it. Can you say them again?
March 22nd, April 5th, and 26th.
5th?
26.
Alright, do you know what days of the?
Saturdays. These should be Saturday. Yeah, they're all Saturdays. Sorry, May 17th. And September 27th.
Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep getting ideas down and then we're gonna go back and look and say yes and things like that. So, any other ideas? Yes, Tim?
Is it possible to find an organization, nonprofit or otherwise, that can create the programming, that has the connections, that can do the marketing?
Yes.
The
Partner, arts organizations partner.
Yes?
Also something that they do, I thought Tim was gonna say this, but each time they do a concert, they also are supporting a local nonprofit. And we have some nonprofits here in Duncanville, that, and you know, different ones, like the animal shelter, when they, the outreach, yeah, you know, but just maybe each time we do that, the food bank or things like that, we support a nonprofit and you ask the public to bring something. For that nonprofit, and ask the nonprofit to be there, give them an opportunity to promote their nonprofit.
Right, and then their members will show up.
And then their people show up too.
We could partner with businesses for sponsorship support and get their people up there.
Sponsorships.
I feel it's obligatory for me to say this, but cultural district branding is part of the cultural district.
Sorry, cultural district.
Branding.
Do they typically have refreshments during these concerts, or is it just music?
It's usually a bring your own. They
Might as well
usually,
bring your own, you know,
Okay.
and then sometimes, you know, they might have one or two food trucks there. Maybe a food truck.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that brings people.
Food truck.
Yeah.
I'd show up. You can't bring a bottle of wine to the park. Sorry, never mind.
Okay, don't put that one on there. No. Alright, so, just me or anybody else have any ideas? Is there all great?
I love the picnic idea, everybody bring a picnic, the food trucks.
Yeah, a food truck, not too many, but maybe, depends on, if they don't have a lot of people, you don't want them to waste their time, but maybe as it grows, more people will come, but food trucks.
Well, the other thing is art vendors, you know, sometimes like for 4th of July or whatever, they have vendor booths for artists, so that's another possible way to get more people involved, more art mediums.
And
Yeah.
I haven't looked over there, well, how does the concert place look? I mean, I know it's that area over there.
Is it at Full House?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it beautiful?
Yes.
Environment looking?
It's very nice.
Okay.
Chairs, and then people sit out in the
I know
grass.
there's some benches and so
Yeah,
forth.
it's very nice.
So you can sit there, or you can sit out in the grass.
What about someone famous or quasi-famous to host it or MC it? I use my fame.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so MC.
Or maybe if, maybe periodically you might have, you know, local or somebody famous, maybe you just have like a, what do you call it? Like an icebreaker, like a comedian
Oh,
or
yeah.
a poet, you know, different times they might have somebody that opens up before the concert.
Hey Alex, do you have Beyonce's number?
Like-
Cool, thanks. Would you text her?
You know, something different each time.
That'd be cool, like an opener.
Yeah.
Like an
Yeah.
opener.
Yeah, like a poet.
A poet, yeah. Yeah.
What about if we had, yes, we have band, there's only gonna be one band, but we have things that, like art that goes along with that, or poetry, or art vendors that are related to that type of music, where we're bringing it out the artists, bringing out the people who are kind of stakeholders in that genre.
That would be okay, as long as it's not a lot of vendors.
Just a few.
Just maybe one or two.
One or two that
So I
would
think that way they'll make some money.
get, because what you're doing is you're getting people to come listen to music, but you also might have a school, have their, you know, kids perform something that maybe it's genre, jazz, and the high school jazz
Yeah,
come to
like
play
open
song,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
Advertise in schools.
Yes.
alright. So, any other ideas? Tim?
Maybe, partnering with a radio station, that has an audience. I wouldn't say podcast, but maybe, you know, find a media source to partner with that has built-in, you know, audience.
There's a new Duncanville website, and, there's also, this is Duncanville, there's different ones that have, events, you know, say, hey, this is happening in Duncanville, and then that's just another thing.
KTM 101.
Yeah. Alright, any other ideas? If you need more room, we have another people.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so, do they want us to kind of do some yes and, yes, that was good, how can we improve it, or do they want just those ideas?
Well, so this is, do we want to partner with parks to do this? Do you think
Or
that?
do they already have somebody in mind for those concert dates?
I think that we probably have to develop that out, but I don't know, but we would probably ask. So it might be something that if, take some of these ideas, if we wanna come back and say, yeah, we wanna partner with parks. This is really important, so like I'll tell you this, because with regards to the cultural district application, this all contributes to it, and when everyone's talked about having something consistent at the same time, that's super duper important. So do you wanna have a conversation about how, do you think that it would be important for us to work with parks on this? Would you like to?
Yeah, if that's what they want. I'm big on staying in my lane, but, you know, cause I wanna tell them something that they, you know, that's like,
Well,
this is our job.
He invited us.
Oh, okay. I just don't
He
wanna
invited us.
Fluff it up and make it.
Right,
Like,
right.
we'll provide like,
Some suggestions or some artists
Yeah.
and things like that.
I think that one of the things, based on conversations I've had, I think we're gonna see is things that happen in the cultural district, they will be more collaborative. So it's gonna be less silo of activity.
Okay.
So what you're saying, I get what you're saying, but I think
I don't think they want us to stay in our lane.
Okay.
I think they want us doing.
Color outside the
Come on.
Share,
It's a
share lanes.
Yeah.
It's a two lane.
Collaborate. Good. Alright, so, let's hop over to the, what was the other one?
Movies.
Movies.
Movies. Alright, so that's gonna be a little bit different. Yes.
So maybe we should start with the known dates, if they have any.
Yeah.
We'll come back with this.
Are there dates for the movie nights?
Saturday, June 1st.
Sorry, Jen.
Different color.
Yeah, cause it's kind of.
Oh, wait a minute, sorry. I only have 2 dates at this point, sorry. Saturday, May 10th,
Saturday. Maybe a little bit more.
and
Sorry.
Saturday, June 14th.
June 14th?
Not June first.
Not June 1st, that was this year, I apologize.
They don't do movies very often.
May 10th and what?
May 10th and
And then June 14th.
June 14th.
And they're both Saturdays.
Are they planning on adding? Or is it just gonna be 2?
So the schedule's tentative, that's what I have at this point. It's possible that they might add another 2.
Okay. So, one of the things we might suggest is having it on a certain Saturday of the month, just so that people know, oh, okay, it's the 4th Saturday, let's go to the park and watch a movie. So that would be regular,
Regular, like consistent schedule.
yeah, every,
So Alex, has Bart mentioned why he thinks they're lightly attended?
Can I add a couple more? It looks like they updated this. April 5th.
Yeah, the concert is April 5th.
June 14th and September 6th. So they do 4, yeah.
they have one that's the same night.
Saying that is another concert.
But we don't have to have them on those specific days, we can just, I mean, there might be a series where we do 4 of them, or movies and 4 concerts. At least we know what days are available to do it. They have-
It looks like this was changed from what they originally gave me because it's a shared document.
Oh, it's just the,
But I think that for this, from Bart and Rex's perspective, is that your input could also drive dates too.
alright. So, other ideas for movies, getting people out there.
Some of the same elements, for example, there could be art vendors, there could be food trucks and all that. I think as far as the films, it'd be good to not just do regular mainstream movies that everybody goes to see already or sees on Netflix, but something like Queen of Katwe would be a good, general film about achievement that's in another culture. It's from Uganda. Another film that I love is called, Landfill Harmonic, and it's about a community in Paraguay, I believe, that makes musical instruments out of trash. So if we suggest content regarding the films, it could also relate to the arts. For example, that's about young people getting tuned into music, and then they perform all over the world. That's a very, to reach out to our diverse populations in Duncanville is a good general thing. And of course, we have to have family-friendly films, right? So like The Great Debaters, which I love, which is a Texas story, may have adult themes in it that may not be appropriate for younger kids. I don't know.
What have they been showing, do you know?
Top Gun. That'll give you an example.
Yeah, so that
They-
kind of-
they-
And Mario Brothers.
Mario Brothers.
Yeah, they're kids, something for little kids.
You know, it might be that we, you know, some audiences wanna see the Top Gun type movies and some audiences wanna see the,
She's describing more art film.
right, the art films. So, I mean, offering
A variety.
both, but I had an idea, that one where they're doing making the instruments. What if we had some schools, art class making some of their own, and then have them play it in an intermission?
How funny.
I mean, I would be all over that.
So students creating
Well, like if it was that movie where it's about making instruments out of trash, well, have one of the schools make some of those instruments.
Let them know in advance what the
Like
movie
an-
is,
oh,
and have them do it, that activity.
Oh, like an activity, like they're doing it in person,
Yeah,
not like.
activities that
Okay.
They
relate to the movie.
That's fun. And like she was saying, get the students involved, get kids involved. Should you put school district advertise for the out of state?
Anybody else have any ideas?
Well, I was thinking with concerts, it'd be really great if we could get some interpretive dancing to, I mean, that's what you do. I mean, that'd be really beautiful, depending on what music that we're playing.
Other kinds of.
That's under concert, that's under
Oh,
concert.
sorry.
That you don't want me to run on.
Oh, you don't.
Just don't mess it up.
Because it's all pretty and then it goes.
If it was a dancing movie,
Yeah,
and then
and
have some
interpretive
dancers.
dance
Yeah.
while the movie's playing.
Yeah.
Flash
Well, I don't know if we could do it during the movie.
I think one thing I would like for the movies is, like, when I think about movies, and it's always to me, for things like this, is what is the draw card, right? What's gonna bring me out? After I've worked, 12 hours, I've been in traffic an hour there, an hour away, and then I still gotta come home and I've gotta deal with the kids, I gotta pick them up. You gotta think of, what is the draw card that's still gonna make me say, as tired as I am and I'm ready to lay it on the line, put my pajamas on, what's gonna make me still come out, right? So when I think about that. Tom Cruise will make me come out.
You have a very busy Saturday.
But I think that when you think about, because a lot of these, I believe the ones that they're on, this is Saturdays, right? So you gotta think, most people's only free day is really Saturday. So, you're competing with laundry, you're competing Little League, you're competing with, just real stuff, part-time jobs.
What if they let you come out in your pajamas?
Now,
Would you okay
you
then?
talk about something,
Come on.
yeah, especially if you have pillows there. But I think that if it was for me, I think about, LA, they have this really good series, right? And it's so big, everyone comes in, sometimes it's an artsy movie, a lot of times it's a, family favorite someone's grown up with. But it's so much fun, right? But there's also vendors there where you can buy food and stuff, there's popcorn, it makes you feel like, when we were younger, we used to always go to the drive-in, like that was the biggest, the highlight of our week, right? You got your grades right, you knew you was going to the drive-in, even if it was in the station wagon in the trunk like that, right? But I think what was cool about it is it's that, we've always had in our family, Friday's family fun night, right? It doesn't matter how my son is, it doesn't matter what part of the family is, everyone does family fun night. So I think that we're creating a catalyst for family fun night, right? So we utilize that in part for the movies and the concerts, what drives the mission, right? And then people always, that have families, they need a date night, period, right? And so this allows them to carve it in while still having something there, right? That can entertain their kids, or that if they're not bringing their kids, that allows them to have adult time in their communities where it's affordable, right? So I think there's, maybe just think about when you think about this, I think about drive-ins and stuff like that, so I think about that nostalgic. Yeah, and because you're always giving people the experience. And Saturdays is sacred for a lot of people, that's the day you're I'm sleeping in or whatever. So I just think that when we think about that, let's just think about things that are fun and things that is going to drive them to come in and spend a couple hours in their community.
So, I was gonna say, I've been to Griggs Park in Dallas because they have movie
Yeah.
night, and they have themed movies. So for Halloween in October, they had Halloween really popular movies. But they also had one that wasn't that popular. It was I don't know what you call it, but it was a movie I hadn't heard of. But it was so interesting, and they gave away free popcorn.
Yeah.
So people were lined up for this popcorn, and I was like, wow, okay. But people brought their blankets and their own picnic baskets and their pets or friends, whatever. So
I don't know, DJ and at first and I just think that making it more communal, the experience of having fun, like it's memorable, it's something you wanna come back to. Cause even if I come once, I really want you to come the whole 4 times.
Mhm.
You know, so I think that, also us probably, aligning that with just the Chase promotional calendar, and it will give you like, this is National Hot Dog Day, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can say, hey, look, these movies are about, or if it's like, Star Wars, or it is the, what is the one my son and my brother love? Where's Alex? He loves it too. What is it, the Marvel movies?
Oh,
yeah.
You know, so having it, you know, it could be the Marvel movie series, you know, the Marvel summer movie series, right? And then we can get some caricatures to come in and like actually, you know, pay some bidders to come in and they're signing.
Oh, that's
picture.
fun.
You know, so
Characters, Marvel characters.
that to me is going to bring people in, because now here it is all your Trekkies are here, you know, for this specific one, and we can promote it in advance. That's your draw card, right? We have to get a thing that draws them
That's
in,
true.
and then have different activations on site that keeps them here.
Yes.
That's just my.
I would be there
So
with my
smart.
grandkids.
Well, you told me I can't bring one, so that was my draw card.
We're going with her idea.
Yeah, so, you know, Tiffany mentioned Family Fun Night. Maybe, what if we branded the activity, both of the activities, or give it an umbrella in a fun night kind of thing. It's Duncanville Fun Night, and that it's either a movie or it's a concert, but there are always other things associated with it. So it becomes, becomes something that.
People put it on their calendar.
Right.
For instance, like, I know the dates now, so I'll put it on
Like
my
the
calendar.
date night series, and then the family fun night series. There were 2 different things, so there were 2 different demographics, right? Cause if I'm going out for date night, I don't take my kids.
So what time do those concerts or these movies normally start?
When it's dark.
Yeah, it's gonna have to, cause some of them, we do one in June versus doing one in, I mean, September, I guess it would be fine, but if we, the dates are pretty much around the light, right? Before daylight saving time?
Well, what about concerts? They don't have to necessarily be dark then.
Yeah, concerts, we don't have to necessarily concerts.
But I didn't know, the concerts start at 7, do they start at 6? Does anybody know? You know the?
They usually start about 8,
Concerts.
I think they usually start at 8, and so I think the doors usually open around 7, 6:37. But I think that,
Now, I think they should consider doing their concerts earlier. Because
not too early, cause people gotta, well, I guess not everybody works.
you know, and maybe start at 7, just go 7 to 9, boom, we're finished.
Yeah, I like that. I think it needs to be a set time, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it, like, the series means, I think that we just, maybe, you know, this is a starting point, and we can, I think from here, what we would wanna do is collaborate with Parks and Rec to see how we can streamline this, so that it's, you know, efficient and effective the way we put it down. Because I think the way you structure the programming is gonna be the way we deliver the programming.
Yeah.
And then, it's agreed upon far as what they can support on a Saturday. And so, let's maybe, if we could go, like, maybe meet with them, and then we can go from there with this, and then we can all come back together on this, or maybe even have a, what's the little we have on the side?
Workshop.
A workshop. We hadn't heard that for a while. have we?
Yeah, workshop.
Find out why they have their, dates the way they do, because that's not seasonal, that's spread all
That's all
throughout
over the
year.
place.
Yeah, and for me, it makes it hard for me to, get excited about attending if it's spread all over down. If it's seasonal, like what they do in Cedar Hill, that's something I can plan ahead for and know that for the month of whatever.
July.
This is, I
On
need to
Friday
work
of
out
every
these days.
July.
Yeah.
I
the
go,
information is
and
out
they
there
start
all
at
the
7
time.
and they finish at 9. They start promptly at 7, they're finished at 9.
Maybe concerts could be
home.
in the summertime and late spring, and then this could be, movies could start in the fall and winter. Because now you can bring out your blankets and now you can be out there with the kids and they can have fun.
And the dark gets dark early. I absolutely agree with that.
It's dark by the time you get out of work.
It's all
But have
about the
some
experience you're creating.
Right.
And that's ultimately what's gonna keep bringing back.
Yes.
Councilman Bidden.
But I like your idea, cause if we had, I mean, I'd be right out front, if you had Marvel thing and characters
Oh my
and
goodness,
like,
I
I'd
know.
be-
And you, especially if we
I'd be
did
there.
it, and you know, they have a new Marvel movie, an example. Like if for me, I would look and say, okay, I know there's a new Marvel movie coming out, right? look and see when that is, so then what we do is we offer the series, so that people come up and catch up on the Marvel movies and
That's
lead
a
up
good
to that.
idea.
So that way it draws them in, they're like, oh, let's go catch up with that. Yeah, and so I think that would be fun, and then we could also, reach out to some people, like we did this thing with Lexus, and we did Marvel, for Black Panther, and so I'm just simply saying is we had all this promotional stuff, so there could be a way for us to tie in and bring some promotional elements to that.
You could promote. I like that.
Yeah. Got the mayor dressed up as Thor.
Yes,
Yes. He's never gonna come to the meeting. He's never gonna come. So do you think we have enough that we can invite like a
yes.
workshop of parks?
Yes.
Yeah, I think let's meet with them first, and
Thanks,
then
guys.
we can create a workshop, so thank you guys.
So we'll ask Alex if he can arrange a joint meeting with the workshop. Yes?
While you're on concerts, the Christian church has an a cappella Christian group for guys it's gonna be December the 2nd at the Christian church. It is absolutely awesome. I try not to miss that, so anyone, while you're on concerts,
Since we're
that's
talking
really a
about
great show,
Alright.
December 2nd,
December
Christian
2nd.
church.
Thank you.
At 7 p.m.
7 p.m. 7 p.m.
Only because Councilman told
The
me.
Christian church, where is
First
that?
Christian.
First Christian church.
Across from Main Station, more or less.
So we're gonna move on to item 14, Review Arts Commission's fiscal year 2024 revenue from grants and expenses. Who put this on there?
You?
Sounds like me, but it's not me.
Oh, you know what it was? Let me just help Alex out a little bit.
December
Probably the last page of your packet.
Let me just help him out a little bit. Okay. First of all, here is everyone has this in your email, but I did send these over to him. This is actually your, the digital budget that I provide you guys every time we do.
It's the last page. It's in the packet.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Well, we only have one.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so I think that this is it.
Oh, okay.
It's a copy of the budget.
So this is for each specific one, right?
Right, but this is an actual budget for about how much they cost, because we try to keep them under, their $4,000 budget they approved us for. We have one more, just so you know, we do have one more approved, mixer, there's 4 of them.
So I mean, so Ann could do that.
We have we do have a 4th one, there were 4 of them, we had 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so we originally were.
Remember that church
Before.
wanted to do something?
So what I'm saying is that we do have the ability to do one more. There you
Do
go.
we have another mixer?
You have, I think based on the last request, you did a request for 4, you've done 3.
Oh, you think I know that?
We do, we have one more mixer, and so. But I think that, I think we just kind of gonna talk, cause it is, what is this, November? It's December, so we were touched with Alex, what we were trying to decide is that something that we wanna do to kick off the new year, right? And so I think that would probably be ideal, because that way, it's already approved, I know that they do wanna continue on, but that gives them just a little bit more of a window to get everything approved for the new mixers, right? And so I think January is kicking, I think that versus December, because we have the element of the Christmas, interaction and the engagement event, I think it would probably be better for us to do it like, maybe the 3rd or 4th week of January, once everyone's back in, and just to really remind them, the Arts Commission is thriving and alive.
Could we not do it at the
I think that we can definitely entertain that. I think that it's November, so we definitely gotta talk about it. We can just do a quick workshop about it. Maybe we can propose that, Alex, via email. We can figure out what day would work, to do a workshop and, figure out what else. I know we've had a couple more requests.
Right, and there was a church, I remember.
There was a church.
Right, I have her, she's a real cool lady too.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, we want to figure out how we can have a joint workshop with Parks to talk about these things. And they wanna do a workshop to talk about, the next mixer.
2 workshops we want, but the first thing we need you to do is, can you create a, meeting for us with Parks and Rec?
Yes.
And then the second thing is can we figure out a day to do a workshop for the mixer?
And kudos to Tiffany, cause we're all under budget on this.
I always come under.
Look at
Look, my relationship. They be trying to be call them, they be like, oh Lord, she gonna ask you for a $22,000 discount. It's for the community. But I wanna say thank you, first of all, I really wanna say thank you to everyone, but Alex, I wanna tell you thank you so much. When I come up with crazy ideas, he's like, oh, okay. But he always supports us, right? In the madness that is yeah, and I really appreciate it.
He's turning red.
No, but listen,
I
the
did
thing
that.
is he don't ever want any kudos. But let me tell you guys, this has become a team effort.
Yes, it
And when I
has.
first started this, everybody thought I was crazy. They're like, oh, Tim is the best though. He said, well, I don't know what this has to do with art, but we're gonna see. And he, it wasn't a
I
bad
hear his
thing.
voice.
It wasn't a bad thing, but he was trying to see, okay, what do you mean? And so after the first one, he came up to me and he said, I get it, right? I'm always about creating a catalyst that allows everyone to thrive in unison together. It doesn't matter if you're in business. It doesn't matter if you're from the country or you're from a small town. It doesn't matter if your median income is $20,000 or it's $200,000, right? We all have goodness in us, right? And art it provokes feelings and emotions in us. And what I've noticed is this has been the experience of us experiencing joy in our community.
Sure
So,
has.
Alex, we thank you
Yes.
for believing in us and
Yes.
helping us to get to this
Yes.
point.
Thank you. Yes. Aw.
Don't be trying to be shy.
Unless there's anything else we want to embarrass
Because we
Alex
gonna get
on.
you a workshop.
Are there any more questions on what Ms. Watts presented? Item number 14?
And you have all that in your email, but I mean your email, you always provide this, but we wanted to make sure you guys got a physical copy for your.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very helpful.
And I might be able to add a little bit something. So, thank you for the Jovi's gift cards back. Those have been turned into finance so that they've got an accounting of that, as well as the donations from the Elefair, so that those are also in. So fiscal services is involved in all of that. I currently have the cards, so if they need to be checked out, so it'll just be the same thing. You'll spend to the expenses and just bring that receipt back to me. I'll get with fiscal services to process that and get that accounted for.
Thank you so much.
Anything else?
So if we get anything for the kids for the holiday in the park, you want us to go get it first and then let you know, or do you wanna go shopping?
I'm sorry?
Or do you wanna go shopping?
Answer that, Alex.
I-
He wants you to pick it up from him. He wants you to put this column in there.
I think that the preference of fiscal services would be maybe I go with you or I meet you there and then we purchase it together. That way you can select the things that you believe are needed for what you're doing, and then I can just do I can be responsible for paying and safeguarding that receipt back to fiscal services.
Okay. They're ordering it. I put the order, I'll show it to you. I put the order into them for that. And they're getting that from Amazon. All the stuff, I'll show it to you.
Where's the budget for that? And are y'all just
All she asked me to do, and I can send you when I gave her, but all Lo asked me to do was to go on to Amazon and get what you wanted and then send them the request, and I did that.
So the city will pay.
The city is getting it.
That's coming out of the special events budget. So they budgeted for that.
Right.
That's great.
Now, will she provide, will you say you're something will be here? Well, they will work economic development, right?
Well, no, Alex, what's her name, Safina?
So fine.
Okay.
So fine, it is so fine.
So fine, Lewis.
Okay, alright, I wasn't sure what I saw, I was like, oh, Safina or something, okay, so fine, she's,
Gonna order it first?
she's gonna take care of it.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome. Thank you.
Is there any other budget besides, the mixers that, because this is talking about, fiscal year 2024 revenue, grants and expenses, did we do anything else?
No, the only thing we went to DCDC for funding for the mixers at the very beginning. And that's the only money that we've received from anybody. And but the gift cards from Jovi's, and we've had a lot of in-kind donations.
And just a footnote, just because it came under budget doesn't mean that that money's, that $10, $20 is sitting there. No, that moved forward to the next budget because that was that came out of their line items. So all of those things were applied, or all of those items were applied to that specific line under DCEDC.
So the donation from Ella Fair can be used for any of our projects, is that right, or where does that?
Well, we'd have to talk about it.
Yeah.
But theoretically, they donate to the Arts Commission and we talk about it. I mean, I have some recommendations, but that's not on the agenda, but totally. Anything else? So one more item. So, our next meeting is on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Would you like to move it or cancel it? But I want to talk to you about some things that we have going on. The next year is going to be less fun meetings. We have a lot of fiscal responsibility to the city now. So there's never been an arts commission. So we have to create we have to make the recommendations for policies for the arts commission. So that's why I put that information about the way that DCDC, their policy, because that's the policy for hot revenue. Well, I've had several city council members say we need good policy for the arts. So these are going to be less fun conversations, but we've got to get it done. We've got to get it done right. So when we talk about things that the way that we want to invest money in the city, we have to recommend a policy in order to do that. First and foremost, we've talked about this before, is the hot revenue is reimbursement. Well, that's not a good practice for the arts. So one of the best recommendations for policy changes would be that. So we're really going to have to decide how and I need your help on this. How you want to organize our time. We can think about the next year having 2 meetings, maybe one person and one virtual. We could have a subcommittee just on policy. So I can tell Dr. Perry does not want to come to that meeting.
I do not want to.
So, but we've got to get it. So we've got to really lean into it. How would you guys like to move forward on this? And this is actually 2 parts. So this is, and that's the reason. So do you want to cancel a meeting in December?
Yes.
No, I would say just maybe have it earlier again.
So I can give you a date, right? So I was talking to Alex this morning. There's a date of December 10th. What I didn't tell Alex is I forgot about it. I'm actually going to be in London on December 10th, but I can zoom in. If you guys, so this meeting would be less fun. It would be about policies and how we want to direct funding and what do we think is important. Discussing the way that DCDC does things. We might invite someone from fiscal services to come and consult with us during this process. But how do you want to do this? And what's actually, if every one of us can talk about it, that'd be really helpful. So Tiffany's very shy and she doesn't want to talk about it.
I think that policy is so important, right? It's the legs we see them. I think it's you have to be very precise and meticulous. And I think that it's upholding our standards of operation, right? So I think that it's very important that we pay very close attention to the way that we lay out our policy. I think my approach, what I may suggest, is maybe that we, who is interested in it, we have a subcommittee first that dives really into policies that's able to benchmark them with other policies that are working for other municipalities as well as that work for other arts commissions. And I think that from there we can build our own, right? And I think that when we get it into a buildable form, that calls for a workshop. And once that workshop has been done, we can introduce it back into the mainstream meeting. So that way, by the time it is introduced into the mainstream meeting, we all know what we're talking about.
So I want to be on that subcommittee. Who wants to be
You
on that?
absolutely will.
Who wants to be on it? Okay.
You should be on it.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Well,
Since you so eloquently said all
Yeah,
that.
you said it.
See, I got used to me. I'm like, oh.
You were so eloquent.
Yes, well, just us 3, there we go. You don't need that one. No, I think that's fine, cause I think that the quicker we get into that, I think that, let's do it where we do a subcommittee meeting, then we can call a workshop, so we know what our main agenda is and what our main points.
Right.
And then, that way, by the time we get back to the main, stream meetings, we all really know what's going on, and we can all explain in layman's terms, and you've had time to review what we're trying to lay out, versus us being up here for 20 hours and with no wine, no nothing.
And it's really, and those kind of meetings are really, I know, right? I'm the raging alcoholic. So that's actually, these are tough conversations, and they're hard to have in full meetings when not everybody can be engaged, and we have other things on the agenda. So right now we have 3 people, we have some people missing, we can invite them, as long as it's less than 5 people on it. So we have that. I'll do a whip around with an email to talk about that subcommittee, and we can figure out a time to meet. So, December. What do you want to do in December?
Touch with your council liaison as you develop those policies.
I just assumed that was.
Are you not coming?
Huh? I say y'all start gathering your research and then picking what you wanna use, and then at that point, I step in.
I'm calling you
done all
on
that.
So first it
We'll be
starts with
calling you
community
later.
engagement, and then now it's this, we get it. So what do you?
I agree with Tiff, not having a meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not
no
gonna
meeting,
make it.
I
no
say
meeting,
no.
no meeting.
No meeting.
Does anybody wanna have a meeting in December? Raise your hand.
And don't you raise your hand.
So, all right, so I need a motion to cancel our meeting in December.
A motion to cancel our meeting in December.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor of canceling their December
Aye.
meeting? It seems to be so moved.
No, I changed it after you started talking about policy.
All right.
No, not the policy.
You're gonna throw me on the policy list. You know what? I'm going to the house.
All right, so if there's no further business, it is 8:30, meeting's adjourned.
How